Hello everyone, welcome back to the SLOTRO edition of the Lord of the Rings Online here. This is Gnarlrynae. Say hello to everyone, Gnarlrynae. Good girl. It has been a little while. Sorry, between the holidays and work just being absolutely insane, we have had a few days where we did not able to get on and do any gaming here. I've got to tell you, y'all know I work at a hospital, and I've got to say, when the hospital was full the last 3 or 4 days, and when a hospital is full on a major holiday, it's just the people who really, really need to be there. So these were a bunch of sick folks, let's say. They were quite quite a handful of patients here. So you can imagine, it's been busy. I've been doing little else than going to work, coming home, and collapsing into bed. But we are ready to get a little bit further along in Gnarlrynae's story here. So let us go. We are going to do Hallowed Ground next. That's where we're going to travel to Thamgaler. Pull up the map. We are right down here in Calengil. This is probably going to be our last Calengil quest. Going to right up across the street, across the road to the ruins of Thamgaler. We saw them whenever we were going to the vineyards, but we did not actually, they were across the stream from us, across the river. So we did not actually go up into them, but that is what we are going to do now. We will also pull up the, it's been enough long, we'll do the history again. This is a beautiful land, is it not? I wandered it often in my youth. But places that were once fair have long since fallen into decay. Some of the older ruins have even become habitations for foul creatures that gnaw at the edges of our lands. My brothers and I have set to ourselves the task of cleansing a few of these places before we leave. To this end, I have in my possession a token given to me by Elrond Half-Elven long ago. It is imbued with a light that creatures of evil find painful to bear. The ruins of Thamgaler, west of Calengil, have become infested with foul creatures. If you could slay any you find within, and then place this token there, its light should keep them from slinking back into the night. So that is what we would do, and we have Thinglair's token. Thinglair being the person we are running this quest for. This smooth stone is inscribed with elvish runes. Okay, so that is where we are going to go. We are all the way up here at the very top of the crafting tier, almost at the very topmost part of Calengil. And we are just going to head on up the hill now, right on up that way, and then go up to see if we can find Thamgaler up there on the hill. All right. I hope everybody had a very good Thanksgiving, if you are from the colonies here, the states. I've got to quit saying I've noticed that in my last few videos. I've started saying again after I was so good at not doing it for a while. I hope y'all have had a good holiday, if you celebrate that. And if you don't celebrate Thanksgiving, I hope you have had a very good week, and that you're going into a very good weekend here as well. Let us travel on up this way. I'm trying to remember what my skills are. Fine crops. That's what we'll turn it on. Just so we can see what we're passing by as we go. Bunch of blackberries. All right. There is Thamgaler. We've managed to avoid any wolves and all the rest, although that pest there may get us. Okay. So there are the ruins. I'm imagining that this is probably going to be... I don't know. It didn't say you've discovered Thamgaler. So we'll have to see. I will see at the end whether or not this is a place that we're going to do the scurrying harbor rats. Is that the pests? Really? We just have to kill gray wolves and harbor rats? Because the way it used to be in the original, we were killing goblins. The place was infested with goblins. Ooh, that would be disappointing if that's the way it is now. Anyway, let's pull up our bear. Let's get Stacks back up here with us. And then we are going to see if we can take on this wolf. Imagine the wolf is one too. Yep. Yep, we still got Wolf Slayer and Hallowed Ground. Maybe after this we have to go kill the goblins. Saw some on the other side, didn't we? There we go. Defeated the foul creatures. Alright, well, we'll take out a scurrying harbor rat as well. They don't last long enough for us to add to our level of 600, do they? I may be remembering it wrong here. Remember, as I've said, it has been about 8 years, 7.5 to 8 years, since I played this. I played an elf, and in this particular area, doing these particular quests. So it has been a while. We may, you know, the ones here may very well have been simply kill the pests. And once we go back and talk to him again and turn the quest in, we may have one where we have to then go in and kill the actual goblins. Do we actually see any goblins in here? Once again, it's kind of like, it is much like Minecraft, when Minecraft put especially back in the wild grass mod, if y'all remember it from ages ago whenever I played it. When everything, the grass would eventually, it had 4 levels of growing, and it would eventually get as tall as I was. And you could lose creatures, especially, and there we go. Place the token on the stone table. Oh, as I said once before, I swear we were hunting goblins. We weren't hunting these. An ancient stone table weathered by the passages of time. We weren't hunting these rats and wolves. Token is placed. Let's go talk to Thinglair. Tell him we have placed his token. But the wild grass mod that I played with way back in the day, back whenever I used to play with mods long before Forge and all the other stuff came in, whenever you had to kind of put them in by yourself and figure out how to load them and all. Mod use is pretty easy now. You can just download one of the launchers, and if you want to play with a pack like the Direwolf pack or the Feed the Beast pack, that kind of stuff, you just click it and load it up, and there it is. You're running it. But back then you had to go to the description and read where you dropped what files where and what you overwrote, and files would conflict with each other, and you were constantly saving. You would drop in some files and you would save it before you did it when it worked, and then you would drop in another file and try that, and if that actually worked, you would then save that, and then you would put in your next mod and try that. And it was interesting back then. But yes, the wild grass and the tall grass sometimes will obscure and cover over the creepers and the other mobs like that. Let's find this Thinglair. I'm trying to remember where he is. Is he down at the docks, or is he up there on that platform? I think he may be up on the platform there. I don't see him down here, so I think he might be right up there on that work platform. Yep, there is his ring, so let's go talk to him. Hello, Thinglair. Now, are you going to send us to hunt goblins as well?
Sweet-eyed Melon.
Your news gladdens my heart, Gnarlrynae, and I am eager to walk among the ruins as I once did, with the sky over my head and the sun on my face. The cool shadows cast by the walls would no longer be a reminder of the shadow in the east, but of respite and restoration. So let's choose one of them. We got his shoulder pads, which will actually be an upgrade. We would choose that.
Might you spare a moment of your time?
My brother Calengil is staying at Dualand, our refuge to the north. Like me, he also strives to restore the old places to their pristine state, and may need your help. Follow the road to the high ground above Calengil, then make your way north along a gap in the hills to reach the refuge. Alright, so maybe his brother is the one that then gives us, because I think the goblins are on the opposite side of it. Because remember, when we were over here, so we were going into the vineyards, we were looking across the river, and we could see goblins on this hill. And this time, we came in from this side, where the wolves and the rats were. So maybe that's where the side where the goblins are. We will see. Let's head on up the hill here. And to tell you the truth, we're only level 8, so we may take our stone out of our pocket and level up to level 9, since it looks like these are mostly level 9 quests. Let's head on up the hill. I'm going to get rid of stacks. There we are. No point in tiring poor stacks out. And then I am going to put the novice's mark in my pocket to get us a little extra run speed. And we will make the trip on up to Dualand here. I was going to say see you when we get there, but we haven't actually traveled there on this character yet, have we? So let's see what the trip is. We've been almost there. We've been at least half, almost 2/3 of the way there. Because we went up this way to go to the vineyards. But instead of turning left to go to the vineyards, we will go straight. That's a very different place. That ruin is, as I said, very different. Everything here is very different. With all the, as they say, the frills. This comes under frills if you're in your sliders. You know, if your computers, if you're not quite got the RAM and the graphic card to run it, without it turning into a slideshow, you can turn all this down. I'm still able to run everything at 30, which is my benchmark. You know, there's nothing better on YouTube. You know, with my particular bandwidth and upload and download speed, I'm not going to be putting up 60 FPS videos, because they would just be way too big and take way too long to upload for me. And I just don't have them. Once again, if this was my job, things would be different. But I do this because I enjoy it. I love making these little videos. I love playing the games. I love having a record of what I've done so I can look back and see it. I love seeing things like this where the videos change. Here we're coming into Dualand here. And I also, like I said, I love seeing things change. You come in here and... Have we not hit Dualand yet? Still not saying it. There we go, Dualand. I'm going to grab the Stable Master. So we've got 2 of them now. The Stable Masters will rent you a mount. Yes, we know all that. There we go. And I love seeing things change. Like I said, I'm going to do a video one day of going through Bree. I'm going to take the footage that I recorded in Bree back 5-6 years ago, and then put it next side by side with the footage from the way it looks now after they did the revamp, and show how things change and how much more alive the area looks. All right, there's Calengil. Calengil's got his Vigil here. So let us go and talk to them and see if they send us back to Thamglair. Are you worried about goblins there, perhaps? Calengil's Vigil. So, Thamglair has succeeded in driving the darkness back from Thamglair with your aid. I too have such a task before me, but alas, I have no trinket from Rivendell to aid me. I do know much of the herbs of the lands, however, and can mix a draught that should serve to purify the nearby ruins. Would you lend me your aid in this endeavor? Sure, of course I will.
Might you spare a moment of your time?
Auto run. I already know how auto run works. Use it all the time. Cleansing draft. You have decided to help me. Excellent. There's a draft I know the makings of that should cleanse the taint from the ruins of dull Ringwest. I have most of the ingredients I need, but there's one remaining herb, a fragrant herb that grows on the shores of the river, running north to south below Dualand. 'Tis a simple matter to gather it, and I would do so myself, but the brewing is at a delicate stage right now, and I must keep a close eye upon it. Would you gather the herbs I need, Gnarlrynae? Sure, why not? We can do that. All right, we've got several more quests. As I said, let's go ahead and let's change over our stone. Oh, we're going to leave the stone. There we go. And we leveled up to level 9, didn't we? Awesome. Okay. You have gained a class trait point. Fantastic. We've gotten our trait point now. Let's take a look at that right quick. I know it's not T. It is J. All right, J is our traits. There we go. We've got 2 points now, so we've got to figure out where we want our points done. And we will do that in just a little bit. I will go find a bard. Yes, I'm going to find a bard to do that because I'm playing this old school. As I said, we're going into every zone. We're staying appropriate. And when I need to change traits, I'm going to a damn bard to do it like you used to have to. Okay. We're going to actually, we're going to, let's keep a close eye down here. Let's go and find out where the next one, we need to find a bottle of wine to Calengil. I wonder if Calengil maybe is up on these platforms in the city proper. I see someone with a ring, so let's go see them. And I want to keep an eye on the level, because I don't want to level up to level 9. There she is. I do not blame those who choose to take the ships. It is their choice to make. All right. Calengil. We have a friend with a bottle of wine for you. I don't know what they have on their mind, but... Gift for a friend. Splendid. I must admit that I wondered if perhaps Brigadur would come through on his promise. I should have known that he would not forget a friend. Ah, this vintage has the promise of aging nicely. Perhaps in some 30 years it will have aged sufficiently. You have my thanks. Let's see. Boom. There we go. All right, and she does not give us another quest. Now, we need to find Bregor, who is that guy's brother. Remember, we had the guy that he wants us to talk to his brother because he wants to leave Middle-earth, and yet his brother does not. Now, there's Bregor there. I figured they would be. And there's the guy. There's Doringur, who is the leader, basically the leader, the captain of this city and the areas. All right, Bregor.
Gray is the shadow upon my heart.
All right, let's watch our XP bar. I think we can still finish this one without going to level 10. Leaving Middle-earth. My brother wishes to leave Middle-earth, but I believe it is time for us to stand our ground against the shadow growing in the east. With your help, perhaps, Tauron will see reason. This Middle-earth that we love will soon face great peril, and we are bound to defend it. I cannot yet sail west.
Might you spare a moment of your time?
Okay. What was lost? Tauron must know that while I remain behind, I will ever be with him. To do this, I will need your aid. So much of this land has been our shelter and our teacher, and our memories are filled with moments of joy and laughter because of this land. Excuse me. I think perhaps my brother will appreciate this well enough to see me on my journey as he begins his own. In the ruins of dull Ringwest there lies a sword upon a stone cairn. Born once by Dunedain we fought beside in defense of our homeland. I may be able to remind my brother of our duty to Middle-earth. My duties here will not allow me to leave, but I hope you will see the need I have to seal this rift between my brother and me. Will you help me? I will certainly search for the broken sword. Okay, and he's got another one as well. Evil at Dol Ringwest. I'm really beginning to think that Dol Ringwest is actually the one. That's the one with the goblins. Okay, so those are actually... That is actually 2 separate ruins here, perhaps. Or maybe that's Dol Ringwest. I swear there were goblins here, too. I swear that there were. But maybe I was mistaken. Maybe this is the one that I'm thinking of with the goblins. Evil at Dol Ringwest. Ancient battles were fought at the ruins of Dol Ringwest, and we had thought the evil purged. Now goblins toil within the ruins and desecrate the memory of the place. I would ask that you do your best to clear the goblins from these ruins. It will ease my heart and perhaps aid my brother Toron to leave in peace. You will find the goblins in residence of Dol Ringwest to the rest of Dualand. Please make your way there and drive these foul creatures from the ruins. So we're going to defeat 8 Blue Crag goblins. We can do that. Now, before we go any further, how much experience have we been getting? 518. And how many do we have left here? 443. So, yep, if we've turned in another one of these level 9s, I think it's going to put us over. So we will disable our experience again. And we will go over here and talk to the chief. I sense a growing shadow in Ered Luin. Be vigilant, elf.
What can I do for you?
So we need to tell him, excuse me just a second. Tell you, it's driving me crazy these days that it's 32 and 33 degrees outside when it's nighttime, and then during the daytime it's 65 to 70. Those temperature swings are really messing with me here. Alright, Prologue, the Master of the Refuge. Remember, we needed to come and tell him that Averthal had been apparently captured by goblins, and they have apparently turned him over to the dwarves. Alright, Prologue, the Master of the Refuge. Your news is troubling, Gnarlrynae. For dwarves to work peacefully with goblins is unusual enough, but to conspire in the abduction of an elf prince seems foolhardy, even for them. I would not call our warriors to arms just yet. Carnivore is full of anger, which is to be expected, but as Master of Dualand it is my duty to exercise restraint. If the dwarves have indeed taken Averthal, we will fall upon them with such fury that the mountains are shake at our passing. But this could also be a trick of the goblins. They would have much to gain by a war between elves and dwarves.
Will you lend me your ear?
Okay. Prologue, the Emissary. I have dispatched an emissary to the dwarf city of Gondomon to relax the growing tensions between elves and dwarves, but I fear rumor of Avathor's captivity may prove too great a strain for her to ease. Journey north and west along the road to Gondomon, and tell Gaelthan what has transpired here. Together, you and she must learn the truth of Avathal's whereabouts, and rescue him if indeed he is a prisoner of the dwarves. I do not wish for war until we are certain of his fate. If Avathal has been harmed, or we are unable to free him, I will call our warriors to arms, but not before. So we are going to bring Dorangur's letter to Gaelthan, who is in Gondomon. There we go. Let's take a look at the letter. Gaelthan, troubling news had reached me concerning Averthal, the son of Carnivore, and I fear that your work among the dwarves will become more complicated. There is a very real possibility that the dwarves have abducted Averthal and plan to do him some great harm. I want you to work with the bearer of this note to find and rescue Averthal if you can. If the Stout Hand... Okay, if the Stout Hand knows something about the fate of Carnivore's son, there may be fighting again in Ered Luin. Dorangir. Okay, so there we are. So we need to travel now, and we are down here in Dualand. We have some quest over here in Ringwest, and then we need to travel north and all the way west over here to Gondomon. And I think, if I am thinking what I'm thinking here, we have finished most of the beginning level quests down here. So what I'm thinking I'm going to do is I am going to travel all the way up here to Thorin's Gate. And then we are going to see which, if any, of the beginning level dwarf quests we can do as well. And that way we will get the full backstory. Like I said, I want to come in and get a zone, complete a zones as I go to them, one after the other. Let's see, what do we got here? Will this take us back up? Yeah, let's go this way. And there we are using that auto run it was just telling us about. Let's swap out our stone again for our novice mark, and I'm going to leave this right down here to remind me that I need to swap them back out. That way I hopefully will not forget. If I leave this here, it'll remind me that I've got that it's there. Blast! I hit it again. Well, let's kind of pull up just that one. Which one is it? Is it this one? There we go. Hopefully that's going to remind me that I've got it up there for a reason. Okay, I'll move it a little bit further over here as we run up the road. We are going to run up the road since we have not actually traveled this way. I don't think we've actually traveled this way with Gnarlo either. We may have, I don't know. I cannot remember, but this way at least we will know we have it out of the way, and we will get to see that palette shift as we move from the overly bloomed out pink area of the elves here, where everything is all spring and cherry blossoms, and you'll get to see the palette shift a little bit bluer and a little bit grayer just about here as we move into the northern Ered Luin and we move into the dwarf lands. Pretty much as we're crossing into the, there you go, as we move into Hotlin. There, you see the palette shift? Did you see that? The sky is a lot bluer and grayer now. No longer got that kind of a pinkish purple tint to it that we had back yonder. The trees are no longer so outlandishly over colorful. And we are going to travel on up the road all the way until we get to Thorin's Gate. There's the spires of Gondamon that you can see. They are appearing above the hill there. We will be running past it. We will not actually go into it. I'm trying to remember here. I'm wanting to say, there we go, we got some hawks. Those hawks, those kestrels along there used to be a little bit closer to the road, I seem to remember. Especially right there on that hill. There used to be a few that were a little closer to the road and would occasionally get close enough to come out and get you. It's kind of like running from Scary in the Shire. If you run from Scary to Brockenborings, there's a bunch of bats that if you were of a low enough level, which if you were a beginning level, here we go. Now we're getting the wolves there. Yes, I said they do actually get close enough where they will attack you if you're low enough and get close enough to them. There's Gondamon there, where we are eventually going to end up after we head on up to Thorin's Gate. But it's the same situation that you get in the Shire, where you have the bats along the road from Scary to Brockenborings that will occasionally fly close enough to the road to attack you. And I got attacked and defeated a couple of times, or nearly defeated a couple of times, when I was fortunate enough to run to the guards, because I was running like my 5th or 6th level hobbit along the road, and the bat is like a 9th or 10th level bat, so it was red to me and almost one-shotted me. I think it was on one of my mules, running a mule over there to do some festival quest and to gather up some beautiful Gondamon to gather up. And this right up here is where the treasure field is. Whenever they're doing the treasure, yep, there's one of the chill winds. So you got to be careful of the bats along here too. That's when they're doing the dwarf treasure quest, the dwarf treasure event. That's where the treasure event is, all up in there. So now you know where that is as well. Got an idea for how these grounds lay out here. Okay. But yes, they were, when I was, long time ago, I think it was the first time that they did the Bull Roarers quest, where you could get you had to run along the fences, and you could get the leprechaun hat, and the shamrocks, and the green beer, and all that. I had several of my alts who were up there running the quest as well to help out Keeb and them, who didn't have quite the amount of time to play that I could. And also to move some people off. But I was going from one side to the other, and I remember one of them getting one-shotted, and one of them almost dying if he hadn't been able to get back to stock in a hurry and have the guards take out the bat that was chasing me. Right in here is one of the first places I ever went fishing as well. Because whenever the fishing hobby finally came into the game, I think I got it from Gnarlrynae. And there's a fishing vendor right there, fishing hobby master, and a dock. And I think Gnarlrynae was in this area, and he came and got his first... first fishing rod from there, and then walked down and fished off that dock as well. A lot of history in these parts. This, of course, did not exist. This was just part of the road here. This little outbuilding and the fishing supplier did not exist back then, before the hobby came in. So it was a while there before that happened. Let's give that Hinderball there, that Kestrel, a wide berth, shall we? Don't want to go fighting any. I'm just traveling right now. Right over there is, I can't remember the name of it. I'll have to throw it on the screen. It's like Sarnor, I think. I think it's Sarnor. Something along that. Although Sarnor, I think, might be a dungeon in EverQuest. But that is, of course, the Thorin's Hall reputation dungeon. We have done some hunting in that before. There is a Easter egg up in these hills here as well that I will try to find before we leave this area. Don't think I showed you. I don't think I ever found it on Gnarlo. I know one day we came up here and we wandered up in there to see if we could find it, but I don't think that we did. But the dwarves have built a snowman. There is a snowman up there in those hills, somewhere up in there, and we will see if we can find him too. Spent so much time in this area. I was a dwarf. My character Gnarlrynae. He was the first. I gotta say, Bramfast was my first character, being that he was a. Bramfast was my first character, being that he was a hobbit and a hunter, and of course, being Lord of the Rings Online, of course, my first character had to be a hobbit. And he's actually in the mid-high 30s. I think he may be actually level 38 now. So he was my first character in all I worked on. But I have to say that Gnarlrynae was my first main. Working with my brothers, working with Dwindon and Keeber back when they played this game very extensively along with me. And Keeber's wife, Zamanthia. Three of them all rode up elves, and I was the only dwarf in the bunch. I rode up a dwarf guardian. And of course, dwarf guardian started up here, the elves started down here, and that was back in the days when the map was blank. You didn't give a map with everything marked on it. You got a map that everything was just a blank parchment. So yeah, I had a bunch of blank land. It was quite a scary run to run my dwarf from up here all the way down this road we've just traveled to get down there to play with all my elf relatives. Alright, we are entering Thorin's Gate now. As you see, we've seen this before. This was a map that came in back when they revamped the beginning sequence. and did the Refuge of Athelion and all. And we have reached it. Fantastic. Deed. Places of the Dwarves. Freren's Court. Let's look at the deed. I'm also, now that we are here, I'm going to remember to swap my stone over. Let's just look at the deed to see what it gives us. We've seen the places of the elves. Yep, the elf ruins. Now we got the places of the dwarves, 1 of 5. Explore the places and settlements held by the dwarves of the Blue Mountains. We found Freren's Court. And this is how you find out a lot of the backstory, like Freren here. So we will do a travel log on that. And we will put it at the very end here. So thank y'all for coming along with me. Thank y'all for coming along with me. Next time we are up, maybe this coming evening, it depends. I'm going to be doing a lot of, spending a lot of time with my wife today. There are like football games, that kind of stuff on, and it's going to be the first time we've actually spent time together since about a week and a half now, because we've both been so busy at work. So we'll see what we'll get up to next time. I will look around, see what kind of quest we have in this area, the beginning quests, and we will join you then. Stay tuned. We'll do a travel log right here, right quick, of Freren's Court, and we will see you next time. Thanks for coming along. Freren's Court. This courtyard was named after the brother of the great Thorin Oakenshield. It leads to the entrance of Thorin's Hall to the north.